He didn't know her, but in that decisive moment, he gifted her a sword too precious. Beginning, the city of Orpheon was built of glass towers and metal bridges, glowing with neon veins that pulsed like the arteries of a living organism. It was a jewel of the outer colonies, a hub of trade and progress where humans and aliens alike mingled beneath a manufactured sky. Above it all hung the orbital ring, a colossal belt of steel, circling the planet like a halo. Jonas Vale walked its streets quietly, a man out of place in this metropolis of invention. His clothes were old and functional, a military jacket with faded insignia, boots worn from campaigns long finished. He was a veteran of the Helios Wars, where he had once commanded firestorms from orbit and watched entire cities burn to dust. Now, he was just another forgotten soldier in a world that no longer had use for him. On this particular night, Jonas sat in a market alley where hawkers sold crystalline data cubes, alien spices, and fragments of ancient tech scavenged from forgotten ruins. His eyes, though tired, were sharp as ever, scanning not for goods but for trouble, an instinct from years in the field. That was when he saw her. She moved through the crowd like a shadow, slipping past vendors and buyers alike. A girl, no older than 20, with hair the color of night, and eyes too alert for someone so young. She clutched something to her chest, wrapped in a cloth bundle, as though the fate of worlds depended on it. Behind her came armored enforcers of the Orphean Council, their black exosuits glinting under neon lights. Their helmets masked their faces, but their movements betrayed urgency. They were hunting her. Jonas felt the old soldier in him stir. He didn't know her, didn't know what she carried, but instinct told him she was important. She darted into the alley where he sat, breath ragged. Their eyes met for a split second, hers widened with fear, then with desperate trust, an unspoken plea. The enforcers closed in. Jonas made his choice before reason could stop him. Middle, the first enforcer stepped into the alley, plasma, rifle raised. Jonas moved like the soldier he once was, smooth, lethal, precise. He grabbed the rifle, yanked the man off balance, and slammed him into the wall. The weapon discharged, burning a hole through a vendor's stall. The girl gasped, but Jonas only barked. Move. She bolted deeper into the maze of alleys, and Jonas followed, his boots pounding against the steel flooring. They fled through winding passages, slipping past neon-lit bars and machine shops where workers glanced up but quickly turned away. No one interfered with council business. Finally, they ducked into an abandoned maglev station. Rusted tracks stretched into darkness, and the old station smelled of oil and damp metal. Jonas scanned the shadows while the girl pressed her back against a pillar, clutching her bundle like a lifeline. You got a name? Jonas asked, voice low but firm. Lyra, she whispered. Her eyes darted nervously, like a hunted animal. All right, Lyra, why are they after you? She hesitated, then slowly unwrapped the bundle. Inside lay a sword, not a crude blade, but a weapon of impossible beauty. Its hilt shimmered with shifting colors, like a star trapped in crystal, and the blade itself was forged of something translucent, etched with glowing runes. Jonas felt his chest tighten. He recognized it. Everyone did. The Solstice Blade, he murmured, a relic from the old wars, said it had been crafted by the first alliance of human and alien smiths. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a symbol, a key said to unlock ancient vaults scattered across the galaxy. Entire wars had been fought over it. Lyra nodded. It was hidden beneath the ruins outside Orpheon. My people guarded it for centuries. But the council, they want it for themselves. They'll use it to dominate the colonies. Jonas exhaled slowly. He didn't want to be involved. He had fought enough wars, seen enough blood, and yet he couldn't ignore the fire in her eyes. She wasn't just running. She was fighting for something bigger. The sound of armored boots echoed through the station. The enforcers had tracked them. Jonas drew a battered combat knife from his belt. It was all he had left from his service days. The irony wasn't lost on him. Facing soldiers with plasma rifles while armed with nothing but a knife. He glanced at the Solstice Blade, its runes pulsing faintly as if aware of the danger. Give it to me, Jonas said. Lyra's eyes widened. I don't even know you. You want to live? You want that sword to survive? Then give it to someone who knows how to fight. For a heartbeat, they stood frozen. Then, with trembling hands, she placed the weapon into his grasp. The moment his fingers closed around the hilt, light flared. The blade hummed like a living thing, resonating with the rhythm of his pulse. Jonas felt strength flood his weary limbs, memories of old battles sharpening into clarity. This was no ordinary weapon. It chose its bearer. The enforcers stormed into the station. Jonas stepped forward, the blade raised. The fight was brutal, but different from the wars Jonas had known. The Solstice Blade moved like an extension of his will, cutting through armor with ease, deflecting plasma bolts with shimmering arcs of energy. The enforcers fell one by one, their weapons scattering across the floor. When the last soldier collapsed, Silence fell over the station. Jonas stood amidst the wreckage, chest heaving, the blade still glowing in his hand. Lyra stared at him, wide-eyed. You wield it like you were born for it. Jonas looked at the sword, then at her. I wasn't born for it. I was made for it. War made me into this. But you, he held the blade out to her. You're the one who should carry it. She shook her head. No, I can't fight like you can. I died before I took 10 steps. Jonas studied her. She was right. She didn't have the training, but she had conviction, something he had long since lost. And in that decisive moment, though he didn't know her, though he had no reason to trust her, he pressed the hilt into her hands. Then learn, he said. This blade is too precious to be wasted on me. But you still have a future worth fighting for. Lyra's hands trembled as she accepted it. The blade pulsed faintly, acknowledging her. Ending. For days, Jonas and Lyra traveled together, moving through the underbelly of Orpheon, evading the Council's patrols. He taught her how to grip the weapon, how to move with it, how to trust it. She was clumsy at first, but determination burned in her. Slowly, she began to find her rhythm. Along the way, Lyra revealed her true mission. The Solstice blade wasn't just a relic. It was a key to the Ecliptic Vault, an ancient installation hidden in the asteroid belt. Within it lay technologies from before the wars, capable of reshaping entire civilizations. If the Council got to it first, they would enslave the colonies under their rule. Jonas listened in silence. He hadn't believed in causes for a long time, but something about Lyra reignited an old fire within him, the soldier who once fought not for glory, but to protect the helpless. The final confrontation came when the Council cornered them at the docks, where starships hummed, preparing for launch. Dozens of enforcers surrounded them, and at their head stood Commander Rel, a man Jonas had once fought beside. Jonas, Rel called out, you've fallen low, old friend. Siding with a thief? Hand over the sword. This doesn't have to end in blood. Jonas glanced at Lyra, who gripped the Solstice blade tightly. She looked back at him, fear in her eyes but also trust. He stepped forward, placing himself between her and the soldiers. If you want her, you'll go through me. The battle that followed was chaos. Blades clashing, plasma fire streaking across the docks. Jonas fought with ruthless efficiency, buying Lyra the chance to flee toward the waiting freighter. But Rel was stronger than the rest, his exosuit enhancing his strikes. Jonas was battered, bleeding, pinned down at last. Rel raised his blade for the final strike. And then Lyra appeared, the Solstice blade blazing in her hands. She had returned. With a cry, she drove the weapon through Rel's defenses, shattering his armor and sending him sprawling. The surviving enforcers scattered in fear. Jonas collapsed exhausted, but a faint smile touched his lips. Lyra stood tall, the blade glowing brighter than ever. She had chosen her path. As the freighter lifted them away from Orpheon, stars stretched into lines through the viewport. Lyra sat beside him, silent but resolute. You could have kept it, she said softly. The sword, the power. Why give it to me? Jonas closed his eyes. Because I've carried enough weapons for one lifetime. And because sometimes the future needs someone unbroken to hold it. Lyra said nothing more, but she placed her hand over the Solstice blade, and for the first time in years, Jonas felt a flicker of hope. They didn't know what awaited in the asteroid belt, or what secrets the Ecliptic Vault held, but they would face it together, an old soldier and a young warrior, bound not by blood or history, but by the gift of the sword too precious to be wielded by just anyone. And somewhere deep in his heart, Jonas knew he had made the right choice.